What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. We're going to talk about the new Xal'atath affix that was announced. I actually got footage of it in a dungeon, so we'll get to it in a second. I just want to talk about the Xal'atath affixes for a second. If you don't really know what's going on, I'll just explain it really quickly. So in the War Within, when you get to Mythic Plus, starting at a +2 key, all the way up to a +11 key, you're going to have this affix to deal with, the Xal'atath affix. Now, as of now, through all the beta, there's now 4 different Xal'atath affixes. Okay, they just added this 4th one called Xal'atath's Bargain. It's basically a healer affix. I'll talk about it in a second. But what's going to happen is every week when you're doing Mythic Plus, if you're between the keys of a +2 and a +11, you're going to have to deal with one of these affixes. So, you know, there's like the Voidbound one, which is the one emissary guy that you have to kill, and then he gives you crit, I think, and something else. And then there's the Oblivion one where there's like a crystal that try to get towards the enemies, but you have to like intercept those little orbs or whatever, and then they give you mastery. And then there was the original Xal'atath one, which spawns a bunch of little mobs, and you have to crowd control them, and then they will give you haste. Okay, so there's a Kiss Curse, right, of course. And then there's this newest one called Xal'atath's Bargain, Devour. So depending what week of Mythic Plus you're on, you'll be dealing with one of these affixes at a time, not all 4 of them, not 2 of them, just one of them, okay? And they're going to rotate through. So the newest one is called Xal'atath's Bargain, Devour, and it basically says that periodically in combat, Xal'atath is going to pop out, and she's going to put on a healing absorb on all of your allies, okay? This healing absorb can either be dispelled or it can be healed off. And you can see we just got hit with it right now. It's got this little orb effect, and it's got a timer. If this timer hits 0, so if 15 seconds goes by and you don't dispel or heal off this debuff, then it will heal the enemies. You can see I'm dealing with it right here. I dispelled one person, and then I'm healing the others. And then the tank actually got rid of it himself. Now that's curious. So a lot of people were initially saying that this is exactly like Afflicted, right? You have to dispel this thing. It's a healer affix. It's very annoying. We don't want Afflicted 2.0. It's actually a little bit different. The DPS and tank in your group can deal with their own affixes. You can see how quickly the tank actually deals with his. Watch this. Once the tank gets his applied, right about meow, so it's on him now, he's already self-healing, and he's already gotten rid of it almost. Watch how quickly his debuff falls off. Boom, boom, and boom, his is gone. Now I'm gonna dispel one other person here. Like I dispelled a paladin, so boom, that buff's gone. I healed myself with a bunch of just extra healing that I was doing, and now I'm working on the last 2 guys. Now I don't think these guys knew that they were able to contribute to this, but I want to make this really clear. This is not like Afflicted, where the DPS, like you know, if you're like a warrior or a demon hunter or a rogue who can't dispel anything, like you're useless. No, you're not useless. If you have any self-healing at all, like a victory rush from a warrior or a crimson vial from a rogue, you can help contribute. As far as I know right now, I don't know which abilities Blizzard has like blacklisted. I'm assuming they all work. I think there were reports that health stones weren't working from warlocks, which has to be a bug in my opinion. But anyway, the point is the rest of your team can help you dispel this debuff. Now, what if you don't get it in time? You can see on the Death Knight here, it's starting to run out, and I don't end up healing him up in time, which it looks like I'm so close. But anyway, we don't get him in time. So now that one healing debuff will go to the enemies, and you can see on the enemies, they have a little shadowy circle now. It's going to start healing the enemies if you don't get rid of it on your allies, okay? So we have 4 out of the 5 possible buffs we could have gotten, then 1 went to the enemies. Watch the enemy health bar here. It's going to go down and then go back up again. It's fighting, it's going up, it's fighting, it's going up again. So it doesn't like fully heal the mobs, but it's not good. You do not want to miss one of these dispels or heals when they come up. If you do in fact get them, they give you a buff as well. It's a Kiss Curse thing, right? It always is. There it is right there. I had it. It's called Lingering Void. It gives you crit chance and max HP. So you can see it right there. Critical strike chance up by 16%. It would have been 20% if we got all 5 buffs. Max health up by 8%. It would have been 10% if we got all 5 buffs. Okay. So again, it's also not like Afflicted because it gives you a benefit if you do it correctly. Now, this is going to be definitely a healer focused affix, but I don't think it's just a healer affix. I think that, again, everybody else can help contribute to the group by self-healing. Certainly tanks will be able to get rid of their own dispel or their own debuff. You can always dispel one person. And again, it does last for 15 seconds. So realistically speaking, your dispel is on like an 8-second cooldown or something, right? So the tank is going to heal themselves. You can dispel one person, then you can heal somebody else, and then your dispel will come back. You can dispel a 4th person, and then there's going to be like 1 buff left that you've probably already been working on with your just residual healing. So that's something you can do. I think Shadow Priests could drop a Mass Dispel. Here's another one here. Your Shadow Priest could probably drop Mass Dispel. I think it's been reported right now that Mass Dispel is only getting rid of 1 debuff. I'm not entirely sure if that's true. We'll have to wait and see. But all Priests also have a Dispel Magic ability as well. They could use that. So Priests are definitely going to be a little bit more helpful for this one. And Shamans have Poison Cleanse Totem, and it works exactly like Afflicted. So I drop a Poison Cleanse here. My Poison Cleanse is going to start getting rid of these debuffs one by one. There's one. There's another one. They just went away. And I'll show you a better example of it in a second because this actually does work. And I was really surprised that it did. I don't even really want to talk about it too much because I really don't want Blizzard to nerf it because it's just a really cool interaction that Shamans are going to have. And remember, this affix is not going to be up like every single week. This is going to be 1 out of 4. So like, I think realistically, you're only going to see this affix once per month if it rotates through the way that we think it's going to rotate through. So here it is. It's happening again. I'm going to drop my Poison Cleanse Totem. There we go. Boom. I mean, somebody already healed themselves. So half the buffs are already gone, but the rest of them are going to get rid of themselves because of my Poison Cleanse. So for some reason, we only got 3 of the debuffs there. I think it's possibly because I don't know, somehow maybe the paladin was bubbled or something. So if he was bubbled, then he wasn't going to get an application of the debuff in the first place. It seems to be a little bit buggy right now. Sometimes you're going to get all 5 buffs, sometimes you don't. Doesn't really make any sense, but it's got to be because he was bubbled or something. Either way, this is going to be a bit of a tax on the healer for sure, because there's going to be certain moments when you want to use your dispel to get rid of something from the dungeon that is very dangerous. And so your dispel will be on cooldown. And that's not really good, because if the affix spawns while your dispel is on cooldown, you're in a lot of trouble. So I don't know. I'm not sure if it's the best direction for them to go. I don't mind having extra responsibilities as a healer. Like, I really don't. But this is a great example. I have something that I should dispel on myself because it does a lot of damage over time. But guess what? Now the affix just spawned. Excuse me. If I did not have Poison Cleanse Totem to systematically remove these every 1.5 seconds, which it just did, you can see it's very obvious. It's like this one's going to go. There goes one buff just went, and then this one will go 1, 2, then 1, 2. Like, it's very, every 1.5 seconds, it's just getting rid of them. So if I didn't have that, I would be in a lot of trouble because I need to be dispelling other things. So I don't know. I actually don't mind this affix. I think it's pretty cool, especially as a shaman. It's of course it's going to be a lot easier for me. But if you're worried about this affix, I would just say to you that this only spawns once every month, from what we can tell right now with our footage, like on the beta, because again, there are now 4 Xal'atath affixes, and if you have 1 each week, then that's going to be a month. You're not going to see the same affix for an entire month. So I don't think it's really going to be a huge issue for the week that this affix is live. Sure, I think that you're going to be a little bit annoyed if you don't have any extra way of dealing with it. But again, as far as we can tell right now, everybody on your team can help contribute to getting rid of their own individual debuff, because each of these debuffs goes on one of your players, one of your allies. So If there's a bunch, every spec in the game has self-healing. Everybody does. So, you know, a paladin could Word of Glory themselves, right? A monk could do a chi burst, or they could do a chi wave, and it would bounce back and forth and start healing them. They could vivify themselves. Death Knights can death strike. You know, if I was an elemental shaman or an enhanced shaman, I could just healing surge myself. And the tank, of course, once again, will get rid of their own debuff. You can see Lyaka is just pumping away. He already gets rid of his right away. So I think that realistically speaking, it's not going to be a huge issue. You're just going to have to pivot a little bit and deal with it. And it's going to be a little bit frustrating, but I think all these affixes do offer a little bit of a challenge. You know, there's one of the affixes that spawns all those ads. You're going to have to CC them all. There's one affix that you have to turn and like burn them down. You have to turn all your DPS into that one affix and blow them up so that they give you a buff. And then there's the other affix with the orbs that come flying in. You're gonna have to use your mobility to run around and grab them all before they hit the enemy, so they don't buff the enemy. So there is a little bit of a change you're gonna have to make for every single affix. This one might be the most intrusive, but realistically, I think it's okay that you're getting your team to use their utility, their healing, sorry, their self-sustain in this particular instance, or you're leaning on the healer a little bit more to pump a little bit of extra healing when the affix goes up. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I mean, as a shaman, obviously, I don't think this is a problem because you have poison cleanse. It's actually kind of crazy. I think priests are going to have a little bit more value. Also, I do believe that any DPS that have an extra dispel as well can be valuable. So like monks and rep paladins and shamans and priests, shadow priests, let's say, and any of the like hybrid classes, like if you have an LE shaman or an enhanced shaman, they can bring poison cleanse totem as well. So I do think there's going to be lots of different ways of dealing with this. I'd love to hear what you guys think, though, in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this new affix. Let me know what you think about the rotating affix system, where you're only going to see these once a month. Do you think that's going to be good for the game? Is it going to add some variety to the game? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that down below. Thanks so much again for watching. Love you all. I will see you in the next one.